All right. Hello, everyone, and welcome to our Ready, Set, Smart webinar series where we are providing continuous opportunities highlighting different smart tools. In today's session, I'm super excited to show you how to get started with your IQ4 Smartboard, specifically really cool tools within your Smartboard's whiteboard to engage your students in literacy instruction. My name is Michelle Grinberg, or Mish, and I'm an educational solutions consultant here at Smart. And in the chat with me today, I have Jessica Secan, who's one of our incredible area managers. During our session today, we encourage participation. If you've got any questions, please ask them in the chat during the presentation. At the end of today's webinar, additional resources will be shared with you in the chat. And also, for participating in today's webinar, a certificate will be provided to you after completing a brief survey. At this point, let's go ahead and get started with our webinar so that we can dive into Smart for Literacy ready-made resources to build strong readers and writers. All right. So what I'm going to have you all do is quickly sign into my session. So if this is your first time, what you'll do is go to hellosmart.com, select join as guest, and then put in my class ID, which is 181461. I'm going to put that in the chat for you as well. Go to hellosmart.com, join as guest, and then my code is 181461. 181461. Give everyone just a moment here to do that. All right, perfect. Looks like I've got a few of you. I do have some familiar names in here. Hey, Erica. Hey, Pam. Michelle, I don't think we've met before, but hey, great name. All right, I'm going to go ahead and move on. If you are still not joined in, no worries. The instructions are right in the chat. You're welcome to join in at any time. And before we get started, I really quickly just want to review that we have many different smartboards with many different softwares on them. But today I'm going to be showing you things that exist within IQ4. So if you've got a brand new smartboard, I would say this school year and forward, when you go to your home screen, most likely your home screen looks like this on the right side here. If for any reason your board is from last school year or prior and your home screen looks like this, that's called IQ3. Almost everything that I'm going to show you here today, you can still do on your board. The buttons are just going to be in a little bit different place, and I'll call that out as I show you different ideas. But right now, what I'll have Jessica do in the chat is she's going to drop a recording to a previous webinar I did with some different things that you could do on this older board with those features on there as well. But again, everything I show you today, for the most part, you can do on your board if it does look like this. Buttons are just in a different place, but my screen for today is going to look like this. Okay, so when I say things like IQ4, that's just our newer upgrade there. All right, so I have got some questions for you here. I really quickly am wondering, and I'm going to just restart this here. You should have access on your screen. I'm wondering, how are you currently using tech to enhance literacy instruction? You are welcome to either answer if you're joined into my session here, or you can also just let me know in the Zoom chat. How do you like to use technology to enhance your literacy instruction? I'm going to go ahead and hit start here. I'm just looking for some ideas. How are you currently using tech to enhance your literacy instruction? Again, feel free to answer using the shout it out that you're connected to, or you can let me know right in the Zoom chat. Vocabulary pictures. I love that. I'd love to hear a little bit more about that. We're going to take a look at some different ways to use a shout it out also for some literacy instruction in a little bit here. How are you currently using tech to enhance literacy instruction? I'm thinking back on when I was in the classroom, I used so many different platforms. I used my own smartboard in my classroom. So I'm really excited to kind of dive in today and take a look at different ways that you too can use your smartboard. So I'm going to go ahead and move forward here. If you didn't have the opportunity to answer that question yet, no worries. Feel free to drop that response in the Zoom chat. Looks like I've got one. Lumio audio recording to respond using immersive reader, etc. I love that you are using using Lumio for your instruction for literacy. That's fantastic. Today we're going to focus just on your smartboards, but it's so fantastic to use Lumio with your smartboard because there's so many accessibility features, especially as it pertains to literacy. So I love that you said that. All right, so what I'm going to actually do during our session today is I'm going to be building activities live time with you. So the first thing that I'm going to do is actually import a PDF that I already had. So on the bottom right of my screen here on my whiteboard toolbar, I'm going to click on that plus button, and you'll see that I have a button that says Insert File. From here, oops, I thought I was already signed in. I tried to do this on time. Give me a quick moment, but I am essentially going to connect my Google Drive. So I already have a PDF that I know I want to use, and I'm going to sort this really quick by newest because I did access it today. There it is. So I know that we've probably at some point all used a PDF, something that sounds like Roll and Write. Roll and Write's a pretty common one that we use in our classrooms. And here is a template that I already had saved on my computer because the goal is we don't want to have to start over. We already have so many great resources. We just want to think of different ways that we can enhance them. So this was a bigger file that I had. It did bring in all those different sheets for me, but I'm going to bring in this one here. And what I'm going to do now is just pick up my pen because it's super easy to just pick it up and start to edit this. And so maybe with my students, as I'm working on their phonemic awareness or building their vocabulary, we're working on word rhymes. So maybe this week we are working on it, ick, and I'm writing pretty quick for my students. I might make this look a little bit nicer. And I'm going to do a couple more here and ink. Now, one thing you'll know, if you've ever bumped into anyone from SMART at a conference, at a trade show, we are always going to encourage you to let your students touch your board. We promise your board is going to be A-okay. It does go through a lot of testing. And the reason I say this is we've come across so many educators that are like, wait, you let your little 5-year-olds touch your board? What if they break it? So I punched it pretty hard. We're going to let them come up and use it as a center. So from here, again, I'm thinking, how can I use this as a center? How can I add a little bit more interaction to it to make this into an activity? So what I'm going to do is on the very bottom of my screen, quickly scroll up and grab that toolbox there. And I am going to click on the dice. Once that's here, my PDF moved around on me a little bit here. But now all my students need to do is click on that dice, roll it. They've got the number 4, come on here, and now they can start to write their words. So they rolled 4, they come over, find what the word rhyme is there, move forward, and that word is fitting for my household because we were all a little bit under the weather this week. So just a fun way to bring in a PDF we already have instead of having to make copies of it, which we were talking yesterday. If you tune into our Lumio Live, Earth Day is great, right? We're celebrating and thinking about ways to be more sustainable and a little bit more friendly to our planet. Instead of making copies with all those trees, we can bring this PDF right on here, make it interactive, and now we brought in a dice and we've created an interactive center. All right, from here, there are so many more different things that we can do. Coming back to the bottom right of my screen here to that plus button, I'm going to click on that plus, and I'm going to navigate over to manipulatives. Now I'm going to scroll over to the one that says making words lowercase. This happens to be one of my favorites here, and I'm actually going to get rid of my dice. And these are all already infinitely cloned objects here. Now, I was a former kindergarten teacher, and as much as I love manipulatives, they're so fantastic for our students, really for our tactile and our visual learners. We all know that those manipulatives end up under the carpet, in our students' backpacks, in their mouths, in their pockets. They go missing, and it's so much to keep track of. So this is another really great way to pull this up right on your board. So on the earlier slide with our roll and write, we did some word rhymes, but what if with my kindergarten students, we're working on word families? So again, I'm going to scroll up on the bottom of my screen, click on that toolbox, and this time I'm going to grab my spinner. What I can do from here is click on my settings gear, and you'll see that I've got a button that says lists. If I click on here, there are a few lists that are pre-made for me, but I am really going to make this more custom. And I'm going to click on that button right on the bottom that has a plus sign, and I'm going to make my own. So first I'm going to name it, and we're going to call this word families. And then coming on here, I'm going to click on new item, get some different colors. And maybe we've got some word families like at, make a green one. We've got a word family it. And let's do maybe two more. We've got ox, making sure that I remove that uppercase letter since it's going to be in the middle of the word. And we'll do one more. We can do it. Did I do it? Can do it. All right. Now that we're here, we can save it. And now I have it ready to go. Hypothetically speaking, I should have it ready to go. It should come up for me. Play that hold music. Do, 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 do. It should come up, but it doesn't want to, and that is okay. Sometimes that happens. Let me try one more time. Scroll up. I did save it, so it should come up for me. Let's go to spinner. There it is. So now I can activate it. So if I click on the middle of that spinner, it'll activate it. Now that I've rolled a word here, what I can do is use those dots on the bottom to move my spinner, or that bottom corner to resize it. So I might move it out of my way. So I have full access to all those letters. We rolled the word family at. So now I can come up here and build my first word. So just another really fun way we can create a word center here for our students. We did some rhymes, we did some word families. What else can we do next? I'm going to pause really quick. Any questions so far? How is everyone doing?
No
All right. I know.
questions in the chat.
Perfect. Thanks, Jessica. All right. So I love that I can customize a spinner. So I'm thinking, how else can I use this customizable spinner, especially as my students are advancing in their phonemic and literacy instructions? How about sight words? So what I'm going to do now is click on that plus button again, and I'm going to grab myself a blank page. Now, at SMART, we always say you should be a button pusher because there's a lot of little things that live in buttons that you might not know about if you don't click on them. So the three dots on your toolbar, I'm pointing right over here. You might not think that there's anything fun in there, but my primary teachers, if you click on there, click on the circle that has graph paper inside of it. There is some primary lined paper. So from here, I'm going to come back to my settings gear of my spinner. I'm going to go to list and maybe I'll make another one. Maybe now we are working on sight words. Come on here, add a couple more items. Maybe one of my sight words is have. Maybe I've got just. And let's do another one. We'll do the word again. Now that we're all set, go ahead, add that in. We can save that. So now all of these that I've created as custom, I don't have to recreate them every single day. I'm actually signed into my smartboard. I'm saving them so that these spinners are saving to my profile. So every day, if this is a center for the next month, these spinners are ready to go for me. Come out here again. I couldn't change the colors of all those, but now what I can do is move my spinner over. I have the word have on there. So maybe now I will come out, change my text settings. I always like to make the marker nice and thick. And now we're working on practicing our sight words and also building sentences. So I got the word have. I might come up here and say, I have a pet dog. So few birds with one stone here, practicing sight words, practicing building sentences, and I'm also doing it right on handwriting paper, so I'm able to make sure that I have my letter structure written the right way. Speaking of having your letter structure the right way, earlier you saw me come in here and you saw me grab a manipulative. But back here in graphic organizers, I also had one that had handwriting paper in here as well. And that one has the little pictures of the houses. So if you still kind of do like the upstairs letters, downstairs letters, a lot of us use Wilson foundations. You might be using the worm and the sky, the jet, all those. You can also import your own the way that I imported that PDF. But from here, maybe I customize that spinner now a third time. I'm not going to do it just to save time, but maybe another option for that spinner is I just put the letters that we're focusing on that week. So when you're doing Wilson foundations, usually there's 2 to 3 letters that you practice a week. So maybe I spin that spinner, maybe I've rolled the letter B. And so now I'm going to come up here and go down, up, and around. Is that the right verbiage that we still use? Start in the sky, come down to the grass line, up to the plain line, and around if you're using that Wilson's language or the house language. So lots of different things that we can do there. Now, speaking of graphic organizers, there was one thing I meant to show you earlier that I didn't. I'm going to come right back over here. And I'm going to come down to this 4 table column. Remember earlier when I brought in that PDF of Roll and Write? Maybe you don't have that PDF. It's so easy to come and grab any of our ready-made resources and create these centers ready to go. So same concept with that Roll and Write. I might come up here and have those same word rhymes on here. What was another one I had? And now with the spinner, it doesn't have to have text in it. I can now customize the spinner to just have those colors. So another really great way, you don't have to have any of those materials previously. I came in, I grabbed the graphic organizer, come scroll right up, grab that toolbox, bring in the spinner, and now I would customize it to just have the colors of this graphic organizer. And another really great way for them to practice those word rhymes or letters, anything that you might need. All right. How are we feeling? Can I show you a few more examples? All right, coming back to my plus button here, I'm going to, right here on the bottom, click on that shout it out button. If you have students that have their own devices, so now I'm thinking maybe we're going to do a whole class lesson. So if a little bit now I was showing you some different small group or center rotation activities that you can do, but maybe we're doing a full class activity. My students have their own devices, whether that be iPads, Chromebooks, ThinkPads, whatever it is that your students might have. It's really easy to connect them. Just like you all connected to my lesson earlier when you went to Hello Smart, you typed in my code. The first time your students do it, you might need to help them out a little bit, but after that, it's really easy because their devices will actually remember. So you've joined my class now. Tomorrow, if you were to join my class again, your device would say, would you like to rejoin Michelle's class? Very easy. So a few different ways that we can use a shout it out. So no matter where your students are at, maybe in kindergarten, we're practicing beginning letter sounds. So I might click start. And I know I have a couple of you connected here. Looks like I've got Erica and Pam, you're in here. So I'm going to go ahead and click start. And again, maybe I'm with my kindergarten students. We're going to pretend Pam and Erica, you're in kindergarten. We're practicing beginning word sounds. So I might say a word like bat. What's the first sound that you hear in the word bat? Oh, you guys are fast. What great kindergarten students I have today. Thank you guys for putting along with me, but both of you went ahead and put up the word B or the letter B. And I really love using a shout out for this because it gives my students different entry points to participate. Not all of my kiddos might feel comfortable raising their hand, whether they're shy, they've got an IEP, maybe they're learning English, or simply, especially with the younger ones, we don't have time to call on everyone. And this is just a really great way to make sure that everyone has the opportunity to participate. What I love about a shout out as well is I can always go to my settings gear and toggle off display names. And now you're just little icons there as well. So it just continues to make that environment much more low stakes for my students. So let's try another one. I'm going to come back over here to my plus, grab a shout out. So we did a kindergarten example. Maybe now I'm with my second graders. We're practicing our new vocabulary words and we're getting ready for a spelling test. I might say, can everyone spell the word again? Go ahead and click start. How do you spell the word again? getting ready for a vocabulary test. And now all those responses are coming right in. I so appreciate your participation, y'all. So that's a really great way to use that. Again, you can use it for beginning sounds, ending sounds, middle sounds, spelling CVC words, getting ready for your vocabulary test, or simply practicing your sight words. A really nice way to also get them to practice using their keyboard. I know for me in kindergarten, lots of kindergarten classrooms have iPads. I had Chromebooks. So we practice lots of different ways to get our students comfortable at finding all the letters on there. So kind of doing those beginning letter sounds really helps for them to really find those letters on that keyboard. So really fun way to get the tech into the classroom. All right. Can I show you one more? One more, and then I promise we'll be going through our resources. All right, so I'm gonna come over to my plus button one last time, and you can really do this with any of these graphic organizers. I think I might just grab this T-chart. And so I always love to do like a finish the picture, start the story, picture prompts, especially as my students are getting ready to use descriptive writing and different things like that. So one thing that you can do on your Smartboard toolbar is click on your image search right here. And this is going to be Bing Safe Search. So it is pre-filtered images. So you should feel comfortable searching in front of your students. So I might come up here and I might search for an image like kids playing. And I can come up here, maybe I like this picture. I'm going to click on it and bring it right onto my screen. I think I accidentally grabbed two. Just delete one. And now my students can come up here and interact and try to describe what's going on. So they might say things like, the kids are holding hands while running in the grass. The weather is sunny, the trees are green. They can come up here and start to use that descriptive writing. So really great thing that my students can do. I also kind of going back to my students being connected on their devices. I do have the ability to click on my little people tool here. I can also convert this into a whole class whiteboard as well. So now each of you at home or my students that are in their classroom has the ability to also collaborate on here. So Pam and Erica, my star students today, you should have the ability to grab a text box on the left side of your screen and interact here. So using your descriptive language, tell me what is going on here in this picture. As your responses come up on here, again, a really nice way to give all of our students a voice because I want to make sure that everyone has an opportunity, whether, again, they just don't feel comfortable raising their hand or we just don't have time to call on all of our students. So another really great way for all of that data to also save in here for me to access back later as a teacher. All right, so from here, I am going to come on over to our resources over here. So I'm so glad that you all came to hang out today. I am going to be doing another webinar is it next week or in a couple weeks? More ways that you can use ready-made resources on your smartboard for enhanced instruction. But if you're looking to keep on learning with us, there are a few different options for you with resources, and we're going to drop all this in the chat for you in just a moment here. We always have access to the Academy. It's totally free, and it's self-paced, self-guided classes that you can take, and you do have the opportunity to earn a certificate at the end of those as well. Very customized, no matter what kind of board you have. There is a different Academy course for each of you. Just as you attended my webinar today, we always have webinars going on, both future and past as well. If you click on this page and you scroll down, all of our previous webinars are on there. If there's an upcoming webinar you can't attend, you can always register anyways, and the recording will be sent to you. We also have our Smart YouTube with a variety of just 2 to 3 minute video clips on how to connect your students, how to sign into your board, lots of different tips and tricks on there as well. And we'll be sure to drop all these links in the chat for you. So Jessica, if you want to drop that in there. And I'm going to come all the way to the end here. The last A couple things I'm going to tell you about is you can always sign up to be one of our ambassadors. We have a fantastic ambassador community. We love to see our ambassadors sharing different ideas of how they're using their smart tools. We also love to bump into our ambassadors at a variety of events. Our smart boards are frequently getting different updates, and we're always letting our smart ambassadors know about it first. And it's just a really great place to come to connect with other educators, as well as be able to ask different questions. So in the chat now, you'll see a link to all those resources that I shared, a link to sign up to be an ambassador. And then at the very end, the very last thing that you need to do is, if you're still connected to my lesson, you can just click right on the screen here, or there's a link right in the chat from Jessica as well to complete that survey. After completing that survey, you'll receive your certificate for attending today's webinar. And with that, if there aren't any other questions, we really appreciate you being here today for the webinar, and we'll see you guys next time.